All right, we're live. Hey Bob, did you have a screen for me to look at like last time, or? Cool, thank you. All right, hello everyone. Thank you guys for coming out for our live stream. We don't have a ton of stuff on the agenda for today, but we did want to give you guys an update. We promised that we'd start doing this every couple months. So we have a few things to go over, and then we'll take some questions like we did last time. Let's see here. We're going to start off with talking about the different phases for Oregon and how that affects each individual county. So all of our information that we are working off of is coming directly from the Oregon Health Authority. We use their website for the information that we want to, or when we need to make decisions based on what's going on in each county. So the newest update was posted July 30th. I have found a few of these, I guess, diagrams of the state and the counties in different places that actually have different information on them. So when you're looking for this, make sure you are going to the Oregon Health Authority, because that's the one that we will be going off of for decisions. I found one today that was on one of the news channels, dated the same date as the Oregon Health Authority one, but had different information on it. So with that, currently all counties in Oregon are at least phase 1, with the exception of Umatilla County, was just put back to baseline as of Friday, meaning they are not in phase 1 any longer, and that county, we will not be holding any hunter ed in there until that changes. Phase 1 is the minimum that we need to be able to host our hunter ed classes. So keep in mind, if any of your counties get put back to baseline, anything for that month will be canceled. If it's a month out, we'll wait and see how long that remains not in phase 1 before we cancel it. There is also counties that are on the watch list. Some of them have been approved to go to phase 2, but have now been put on the watch list and may get bumped back to phase 1. And then there's also Multnomah County and Morrow County are phase 1, but they are on the watch list to potentially go back to baseline. We'll be keeping an eye on those and make adjustments accordingly. Again, these are the rules that we were given based on the information we had for getting our classes open. Like I had figured, we are not going to look at phase 2 for some time. We need most counties to be starting to look at phase 3 or in phase 3 before we can look at reducing any of them. or changing anything to the Phase 2 rules. So we'll take some questions on that here shortly. Other updates I have for you, we're still planning on hosting the regionals in December for the west side and east side. We would like to add a northeast region one, but we have to wait and see what the area looks like with the stuff that's been going on with Umatilla, Morrow, and even Union County just recently came out of a pretty rough patch. We have to wait and see what that's going to look like. So we will make those decisions a little closer to the timeline. So the next one of these meetings that I'm going to do is going to be Monday, October 26th. And I'm hoping to have some more concrete information for you then about the regionals and what we're going to be able to do or not do. Also want to let everybody know I have invited a group of ACs to headquarters on August 15th. I have 6 individuals that'll be coming to work with myself and Myrna and a couple others here at headquarters, and our work is going to be focusing on reworking our hunter education test and getting that updated and cleaned up, fix some questions that I know a lot of us have been having problems with. If there is anything that you want looked at in particular that, and you're not one of the ones that have been asked to come in and do that, please email me any ones you want us to focus on in particular so I can bring those up while we're in the group. See, also 2019 Instructor of the Year nominations. I know Myrna sent out a couple emails reminding you guys of recently. That Instructor of the Year is set to be a non-AC instructor. So if you guys would please try to get some nominations in. We're getting a lot of ACs nominated, which is great. I know we have a lot of good ACs, but the 2019 AC award had already been done. And for those that don't know, that went to Ivan Hernandez at our last AC meeting. And then the last major update I have is I recently purchased some new hunter education computers. I got a small batch of them that I will be rolling out, replacing some of our oldest stock that's out there. But I'd also ask that if you have a computer you're having problems with and feel you need a replacement, please get a hold of me so I can take a look at that. We're going to try to start purchasing a certain amount of them each year at the beginning of the year so we can just incrementally replace the oldest stock each year and keep everything up to date. Those are the main topics I had for you guys today, so if there's any questions, please get those through the website or an email to Myrna, and we'll start answering some.
So someone missed the beginning, which was just the COVID stuff. So maybe again, you can just go show the map and say when you're in this phase. And
okay.
Please repeat that question when you talk to the audience.
Okay. So somebody apparently has unfortunately missed the first part of our discussion. So real quick, I'm going to go over again the phases and how they affect the counties. The map that I'm using and looking at is found on Oregon Health Authority. This is what it looks like. You guys can look that up for yourself if you want. I base my decisions on what's going on in each county based on what information I get from there. We currently have Umatilla County that has been shut down. They're back to stay-at-home request recommendations and are at baseline, no longer in phase 1. So we have canceled the classes that were in that county. Morrow and Multnomah County are in phase 1, but they're on the watch list to potentially go backwards if numbers continue. Everybody else is in phase 2, with another 8 counties that are in phase 2. Or excuse me, sorry, there is 3 counties, Washington, Clackamas, and Lincoln County are in phase 1 and are not on the watch list. Everybody else is phase 2, and there's 8 counties that are on the watch list for phase 2 that may have to go back to phase 1. Those are Hood River, Marion, Wasco, Jefferson, Lake, Baker, and Malheur. All of our decisions are based off of the information we get off of here and the guidance that I've gotten from DAS and the director's office that allows us to teach our classes. So if you find information on a news channel that may be different than what I have or what I've told you, please make sure you go to the Oregon Health Authority website and look it up there, because that's where I'm going to base all my decisions off of.
And some new people just joined, so maybe you can recap the upcoming meetings that you're planning and the other stuff you said about the area coordinators meeting.
Okay. So some more just joined, I guess. So some of the information, other information that was out there was regionals. We'll update the status of regionals, the west and east side. At our next meeting will be October 26th. It'll be on a Monday at 6:30 again. We are potentially looking at a Northeast regional conference, but we need to have the county issues that are currently going on up there with rise in cases needs to go the other way for us to be able to do that. And again, Instructor Year Award, we need more nominations for regular instructors. This is for instructors, not an AC award. So if you could get nominations in for that, we'd appreciate it. And if you didn't hear, I do have a batch of new computers that can be used to replace computers you're having problems with. I'll also be replacing the oldest computers that are listed in our system. I'll be looking those up and seeing who has them, and we'll be rotating them out. Once I get the old computer, I'll check you out a new one if you're on that list or if you have a need.
We don't have questions, but I was thinking you could cover, just remind people that our offices are closed and we believe they'll be closed through October. But we're just available by cell or by email and phone, including our licensing division if you need anything.
Okay. Michelle was recommending that I update you guys with our offices are likely to be remaining closed through October. If you need anything from us like normal, you can get a hold of us, email or phone. We'll get back to you as quick as possible if we don't catch your phone call or your email directly. You know, unfortunately, we don't have clear answers even as of yet as to how long this COVID stuff is going to be going on. And we're trying to make decisions the best we can in a timely fashion, but trying not to do it too far out to where we are canceling or not doing things that we could have if we would have waited a little while.
We did get a question from Cole. Will students be notified if classes are canceled? So maybe you can talk through that.
Yeah. So question about, question was about classes that are canceled, if students will be notified. The answer is yes. We will, if we cancel a class, when we notify you that the class has been canceled, or if you cancel the class yourself for something, for a reason. We've had a couple instructors come down ill. Fortunately, no COVID that we know of, but a couple people have gotten other types of colds and were not able to do their classes. When that happens, when we cancel the class, we notify the students and automatically issue a refund to all registered students, and then ask them if they are going to pick a different class that they just re-register. The current system doesn't allow for us to transfer students from one class to another. So we just refund and then have them register for a new one.
So we did have a couple more people join. So maybe do you want to remind people about the Hunter Ed temp rule and when that officially ends, and just a reminder that this is going to continue.
Okay. So for everybody, including the new people or people that just joined, suggestion is talk about the temporary rule again. We put in place a temporary rule that allows students to hunt this year without completing a field day or a conventional class, with a supervising adult 21 years of old or older. It's an option for this year through March 31st, which is the 2020 tag, end of the 2020 tag season. But they have to have completed either the workbook or the online program to be able to do so, and they have to carry a certificate that they get from those. As a result of that, some of you may see some class or some students bring in a little certificate that we made up for them for the workbooks, where they sent the workbook to us. We checked over the workbook and sent them this temporary certificate that'll allow them to hunt this year. If they choose to come to your class, please accept that certificate as proof that they did the workbook. And if you have any questions about those, when you see them, contact me or Myrna, and we'll be happy to verify it. We haven't had a ton of kids do that, but you may see some out there. The rule is temporary though. That only allows them to do that this year. So for the 2021 season, they will have to come back to a Hunter Ed class. We did that to try to protect ourselves from having to waive the field day requirements, as some of the other states have done. We want to make sure that they get to come experience Hunter Ed and come visit some of our great instructors across the state, rather than being able to just bypass the classes.
So there's a question, are we still operating under current restrictions in Lane and Lynn County? So maybe just repeat the phase that they're in and what the phase means for Hunter Ed.
Okay. The question was about Lane and Lane County in particular, what operating they're in for the phase rules. We are still in the original rules I rolled out, phase 1, and that's for the entire state, minus Umatilla right now, because Umatilla is closed due to being knocked back to the baseline. They're not in phase 1 anymore. everybody is still on the original rules I rolled out, and I do not anticipate that changing anytime soon. I will update that again on our next meeting on October 26th, but I would expect that these rules are probably going to be the same for the rest of the year. It's just a guess and a feeling I get from what I'm seeing, but in general, I expect those rules to stay the same.
So the question was, if a parent comes in, how do we know that their mask is sufficient? And I think the answer is going to be, it's a cloth mask. That's really the only requirement.
Yeah, so the question is about parents and how you know if a mask is sufficient. At, cloth mask, and it needs to cover the mouth and nose area. We've seen several different types that have come to classes: paper masks, cloth masks, neck gaiters. But the key is it's got to cover completely the nose and mouth area. Wearing them down off your nose and just covering your mouth is not sufficient in that manner.
And there was another question about masks, so I think you basically covered it. And are you going to send an email later just kind of recapping the live stream?
Yeah, we're going to save it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe just remind people that it's archived.
Okay, so those of you that maybe got here late and didn't catch all of the presentation, you will be able to watch this again later. The presentation is saved, so you can go in and link it. I will kind of recap it and send out an email to everybody. If you have any questions about anything that we covered or anything to do with the Hunter Ed, after this, please send me an email, and I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can on those.
So we got a question. I'm worried about scheduling a class this year because my wife's an essential employee in a hospital. Can I post a note, or do you have a press release I can publish and post about the temporary workbook rule? So, so maybe you can see. On June 5th, we posted a news release that talked about classes resuming in the temp rule.
Okay. So the question was about, somebody is concerned about posting a class because their spouse is an essential worker, and they wanted to know about information for posting the temp rule. The temp rule is listed on a news release that we did on June 5th, you said?
Yes.
On June 5th. On our website, you can find the link to that news release, and it has the details of that in there. Or if you send me an email, I can link it to you too. So you have that to post up so people understand what the temporary rule is and how they can utilize it. I will say, anybody that has concerns about teaching for any reason, listen to yourself on those concerns. If you're uncomfortable with it, just don't do it. I mean, we want to get out there, we want to teach the kids, we want to see them be successful, but we put that temp rule out there so they have an option this year. My number one goal is to keep everybody safe. I'd rather err on the side of caution, so if you have any concerns, please don't go out and get involved in classes and or run them yourself. As much as possible, we will help out where we can across the state to help do classes, and we're trying to get as many in as we can. But again, safety and health is the number one concern, so don't do anything that you're uncomfortable with.
I think just saying we appreciate you getting the word out, and if you need any language appreciate you getting the word out over your channels.
Okay. Yeah, we appreciate anybody putting the word out on how with the temp rule or what's going on with Hunter Ed. So any information you guys need for that to help you with that, please let us know and we'll get it out to you.
And then we had a question. I just spoke to a parent and we canceled our class for Saturday, but it's still being shown on the website. So maybe just say, yeah, we'll update it as soon as we can.
Somebody asked about a class that they canceled for this Saturday and it's still showing on the website. It can take a little bit to get that off there, but if you would, please email me or Myrna or both and with what class that is so we can double check it. We've had a lot go on the last couple of days with Hunter Ed, so I want to make sure that we're not missing anything.
Okay, so we don't really have any more questions, but a number of people just joined, so maybe one last time just say, here's the phases we're in, and here's the phase when we don't do any Hunter Ed.
Okay. So I guess we had a number of people just join us again. Real quick, all I'm gonna do is remind everybody that you can rewatch this video. It will be saved. And the primary message that I had is the phases haven't changed. We're not changing our rules past what's already been rolled out, with the exception of Umatilla County is now closed until further notice because they've been taken out of phase 1. They are now back to baseline and on a recommended stay-at-home order. So other than that, all rules that were originally rolled out are staying in place.
And just make it clear that we can have Hunter Ed classes in every phase except stay home, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hunter Ed can be ran in every phase except for baseline stay-at-home. So phase 1 is the rules that I rolled out. That's the basic phase rules. We're not even going to look at phase 2 until the majority of counties are in a phase 3 setting, because we don't want to have to keep going back and forth. So, and we want to remain as safe as possible. So until further notice, we're staying with the original rules, and I'll revisit that topic on October 26th, which will be our next live stream video. With that, there appears to be no more questions at this time. If we get any more, I will answer them in an email to whoever asked them. And I appreciate everybody coming, and I hope that this answered questions for you, and I hope everybody stays safe out there. And thank you for joining us.